your information crossroads, WFNC.
No, it feels like Groundhog Day to me. You know, Greg FISHEL, does it feel like Groundhog Day to you? How are you, sir?
A day late, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
It's still it's like yesterday.
Right. And I guess he saw a shadow, right?
Yeah, he did. That's what I was told. He saw a shadow, and that's not good news. But I look at it like this, Greg, and for those of you who don't know, this is Greg FISHEL, meteorologist extraordinaire. The official Greg official meteorologist is how he kind of markets himself. I've seen that around. I've heard it, as a matter of fact. But Greg is a longtime meteorologist in our area who's moved back from Myrtle Beach and who's here. And it seems like I'm always calling him, just like we called you yesterday, day before, and last week. And here we are calling you again because there's a ripple or something in the anomalies that are calling for the potential for some mixed, wintry mix Wednesday. What in the world's going on, Greg?
Yeah, not for Fayetteville. I don't think you have to worry about it too much there. But
okay, well, thank you very much. We're going to hang up on you right now. No, well, that's good to know.
I feel used.
Well, where is this coming? And this is not so. It's going to be north of us. Is that the case?
Yeah, I mean, you'll probably get some, definitely get some rain out of it. But it looks like up around the Raleigh area, and even more so north of there. That the rain tomorrow will turn over to snow before it ends tomorrow night. And there could be, an inch of snow in some areas. And the bigger concern I have is that we're going to be dropping into the mid-20s up there, and maybe upper 20s where you are by Thursday morning. And a lot of times after it rains, the water evaporates before it gets below freezing. That's not going to happen this time. The humidity is going to stay high. And so I'm concerned that there's going to be, some really hazardous driving conditions, especially north of you Thursday morning when all that water, ends up freezing, especially on maybe the less traveled roads. So that's what I'm looking at.
Well, Greg, when I was coming in this morning, I mentioned to everyone that I had the option to come down Clinton Road, which is, 2-lane highway. I said, nah, let me not do that because even coming out of my neighborhood in the Blakeville community in Vander, I noticed there were still patches of ice where we didn't have a lot of heavy traffic. And I said, I don't want to take the chance, especially in the dark, of being fooled into thinking that, hey, this stretch is pretty good. And then all of a sudden there's a stretch that was covered by the longleaf pine trees that didn't get any sun. And now you're on a stretch of ice going 40 miles an hour. And you got to make a decision and hope you do not step on your brakes because that's when you lose traction and there can be some issues. So I've been advising folks to get to the major thoroughfares and use those to get into the city. Highway 24 is what I did. I went up to 24 and came down and you still have to watch yourself over the bridge that goes over I-95, for example, because the ice or the snow that was on the side of the roads can start to melt and trickle onto the road. And as you mentioned yesterday, there's an issue with bridges because of that. And talk about that a little bit for us.
Yeah, just the fact that since there's air on all sides of the bridges, then the cooling is maximized on the road surface. Whereas if you have a regular road that has ground or soil or whatever underneath it, a lot of times those temperatures are still above freezing, and so it ends up radiating that heat to the road surface itself. So the cooling is much more efficient when you've got air on all sides of whatever surface you're concerned about.
Well, so the pretty snow is starting to change now. Have you noticed that? Kenny, have you noticed that as well? I'm bringing it up on screen as well. The pretty snow in the area is turning into, this ugly snow. I see you hustling to put your headphones on.
Go ahead.
Hey, and the pretty snow now is not as nice as it looked the other day, and you can't really do all the things you want to do with it. And here's something that's funny. And Greg, did I tell you that my wife made some snow cream out of the snow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
And you thought it was pretty good.
It was pretty good. Well, we decided to put it in the refrigerator to, hold it over so we can get a little something out of it. We had to call in the DOT for a salt truck in order to thaw it out. Yeah, Kenny, I'll take you off the screen there.
Good.
Man. Yeah. But I joked with her. I said, "What is that?" It was like hard as snow. Well, duh, that's what it was snow. And so now all the pretty snow out there, Greg, is not as pretty, and it can be pretty slick because there's an icing over that happens over top of the snow, I guess.
Yeah, and think about it. It's like you were talking about, hitting little patches and so forth. All it takes is one of those. You can have 99% of the road that you travel to wherever you're going be in great shape, and you just hit the wrong patch at the wrong time, and it can be a real problem. So, and this is, I think we talked about this the other day, is that when I grew up in Pennsylvania, we had school districts within a county. And each one of those districts could decide if they were going to open or close. And when I got here, it was a new experience with county school systems, in the sense that if there's bad roads anywhere in the county, then the entire county ends up shutting down. And I didn't understand that at first. We had a snowstorm in Raleigh back in, I think it was January of '82, and a week later, the roads in Raleigh were fine. And I made some sort of a crack on the air about, it must be nice to still be out of school for no reason. And oh boy, did I get I get hammered on that one.
Well, my thing down here, and you went to Penn State, so you're up in that area, and I'm from Philly, and we went to school when it snowed, but we had the equipment that was necessary to keep the roads kind of clear. And you had experienced drivers up there as well who used to driving in snow. And I remember we used to put chains on the tire. My dad would get the chains out. We got to snow.
Yep.
And so the chains would break up the ice a little bit, give you a little more traction and make your vehicle go. But down here, it's not cost effective to invest in snow plows and all the other stuff. Talk about that, because it just doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. I mean, for something that is relatively infrequent, and it's funny when you look at the 30-year average. At RDU, it's about 5 inches of snow a year, and that's not because we get 5 every year. It means that a couple of winters we don't get anything, and then the third winter we get hammered, and when you average it all out, you get 5. And so it really doesn't make sense to invest a ton of money in something that you're just not going to use on a regular basis. So I totally get that. That makes total fiscal sense to me.
Well, we have guests who come into our radio station. We use you by phone because you're up in Wake County to get you in. But we got some guests who are coming in. And Kenny made a good observation that our front steps are just terrorized right now with ice. And so, Kenny, want to make sure that you're watching your phone, because it's about time for Q to come in. He may be at the back door, because I told everybody to call you so that we can make sure we get everyone in here.
Yeah, I'm checking now. Not yet.
Okay. All right. So, Greg, we'll continue. We don't have our 20 guests in here, our 720. Okay. I believe you're 720.
I do have one bit of news, longer range, that you may be interested in.
Okay.
And this is going to be good news for winter weather haters and bad news for winter weather lovers. But I think I see the pattern breaking down next week. The jet stream has been in what we call a high amplitude mode, where it bends a lot. It poked way up into Western Canada and dipped way down into the eastern U.S. And it looks like that pattern is going to change to a flatter west to east flow. And if that happens, then we could actually have temperatures next week at or perhaps even above normal, which would take us well up into the 50s and maybe even beyond that if we're lucky. So I think this incredibly persistent spell of unusually cold weather, the end is in sight.
Well, that's great news, and Greg, we appreciate it. I see our next guest came through the front door. He probably didn't get my text about watch out for the ice.
Yeah, but he came blazing through. I can't see with my glasses. Obviously, he's a young man.
Yes. Yeah, this is Q. Q, come on in and sit down. You going to get my text about coming to the back door because of the ice out there?
I got it. That's all. Do not disturb while I'm driving.
Okay, well, that's a good thing to do. And so Greg, he didn't get the message, and he came lollygagging up here to the front door, and we were waiting for him to take a dip, but he didn't. You survived, young man.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, look, we're going to get to you in just a second. Greg, we always appreciate you because I called you on the fly, man, and said, hey, we look like we got some wintry mix, and you said we're going to be okay down here in the Sandhills. And that's good news.
Yes.
And then you bring us even better news that the jet stream is going to break up, and we may see an end to this quicker than the groundhog did, because the groundhog said he saw a shadow. And here's my thing, Greg. Every time they had this thing, was it Punxsutawney Phil up in
Right.
Pennsylvania? There's 1,000 camera lights on him. How can he not see a shadow? No, am I right?
No, that's a tremendous point. You're absolutely right.
He will always see a shadow.
Right.
That
Right.
guy's got the big old caps. We're going to we're going to have 6 more times the thing for same and winter ding. Whatever they say. I sound just like him, brother.
Well, and the thing about it is, even if the pattern breaks next week, that doesn't necessarily mean there isn't going to be more winter, later in February or even March. Were you down here? You weren't down here in 1980, were you?
Yeah, I was stationed here 78, and I remember we got late stuff.
Yeah, March 1st and 2nd of 1980. Elizabeth City had 25 inches of snow with that. And I was in Chicago, my first job out of school, and I was thinking, I'll go to Chicago, I'll see a lot of snow. And I see Elizabeth City with 25 inches, and I looked up and said, Lord, where have I failed?
Yeah. Well, Greg, look, keep your phone on standby, because we may call you any moment. Say, we got a problem down here in River City. That begins with a T, and it rhymes with P, and stands for pool. All right, Greg, thank you, sir. And
thank you.
And we'll send you a link to our podcast here. Greg FISHEL, meteorologist extraordinaire. Thank you for joining us this morning. All right, hey.
No problem.
We got Q in here, and we're going to be talking to you in just a second. But right now, we got Fayetteville's most dependable forecast with CBS 17 meteorologist Matthew Huddleston.
I got you, baby.
Increasing clouds today and a slightly milder afternoon with highs in the upper 40s. Mostly cloudy skies tonight with a few showers pushing in, a low in the middle 30s, and then rain showers with highs in the middle 40s for the day on Wednesday. That's your Fayetteville forecast. I'm CBS 17 meteorologist Matthew Huddleston.
Matthew, thank you. 23, that is the number that we are etching in stone this morning. 23 in Fayetteville, Hope Mills, and also in Bun Level. You're listening to News Talk 640 with